What's up? 58 seconds left in this football game. We would need a Houston-esque miracle to come back. I don't foresee it happening. Proud of the offense. They've really fought back a lot here in the second half. The defense just couldn't get any stops. It's 4th and 10 now, 54 seconds to go. Not looking great. Let me fix this hair real quick. So I'll say this first and foremost. I was wrong about Garrett Green. I called for Nico. You guys know that. Um, pretty much from the Penn State game. And the improvement for Garrett Green has been huge. It's been huge. We got him to jump. And, it's going to be our ball, but they picked it off. So, I want to give Garrett Green his props. Definitely the heart and soul of this team. Nico, Garrett continues to play like this, we're going to have something to build around for sure. There are positives to take out of this. It's like after the bye week, our offense got it together and our defense just – the loss of Trey Lathan, for whatever reason, it was just undone. We've become undone. And, you mean to tell me that Oklahoma State has a better offensive line and running back combination, or, Ollie Gordon is better than Katron Allen and Nick Singleton and the Penn State offensive line? Maybe it freaking is. I don't know. Yeah, they jumped off sides, West Virginia guy. They just jumped off sides, so we got the ball. 4th and 5. We'll have to get an onside kick if we score, and if that happens, I'll probably look like an idiot, but I'll be looking like a glad idiot. Still trying to wait and see what happens here. And that's the ball game. Our team continues to play and act undisciplined. There were several plays tonight. I thought about labeling this undisciplined. Our team is just an undisciplined mess right now. And I can't explain how disappointing it is. We gave this football game away, You give somebody several extra possessions on punts, the early interception. The people quit messaging me. I'm frustrated. The early interception, the fumble by Cole Taylor, that was almost into the red zone. Just extremely frustrating. And I want to give props where they're due. Obviously, Garrett Green deserves a lot of credit tonight. I'm really proud of him. So we go to 4 and 3. Is the world over with? No. Does Neal Brown deserve to be back in the hot seat? Yes. Yes. Yes, you do. Even with the loss to Oklahoma State, which looked like wasn't going to be a thing a couple of weeks, even just a couple of weeks ago, this is an Oklahoma State team that got beat by South Alabama, scored 7 points against them. They've come such a long way in such a short amount of time, it blows my mind. But to come into Mountaineer Field in a miniature night game and do what they did to us, 300 yards rushing, that absolutely snatched the soul out of our defense. Neal Brown can be as mad as he wants to be in the press conference afterwards. He can be as frustrated as he wants to be in the press conference afterwards. At the end of the day, it's just not working for whatever reason. Maybe they go on a September run and win, or a November run and win 4 games. They've done it a couple times. And if he does, fine. But I don't see it yet. So let's get to some of the comments. It's just not working, Timothy Green. I don't know how else to say it. I've been proud of Neal Brown at times this year, and I've got up here and said, hey, he's off the hot seat. And I don't mean to be so flimsy and back and forth on this, but it truly is. We're grading him on it's a game-to-game thing for Neal Brown right now. It's not like with some coaches where you think, well, he's got 6 games, or he's got the year. Neal Brown is on the hot seat and off the hot seat from week to week based on what happened at Houston after a bye. So this defense is falling apart. We played, in my opinion, better offenses this year than Oklahoma State's. Um, Ollie Gordon is an absolute man. I'll give him that. And he was really patient in the run game today and apparently had a vendetta because they lost to us last year. He's special. Yeah, absolutely. But we did not play team defense. Uh, we got absolutely mauled on the defensive line, which just hasn't happened to us very much. And it just makes me wonder if, whatever happened to us against TCU that game, we have not recovered from. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we just took everything we had to win that game. But the 3 injuries, and obviously Tomas Remax still being out, it hurts the running game a little bit. That's why you see them running off the right side more than they used to. They used to run off the left side a lot more. So I don't know. If the turnovers don't happen, I think we probably have a chance to win this football game. But Oklahoma State deserved to win the game. They played the more sound game. They got a few more breaks than we did. The Andrew Wilson-Lant play is, I just can't even wrap my head around. I really can't. This is the kid that was supposed to be a starting corner before the year, hasn't smelled the field in weeks. And some people were trying to say maybe he's frustrated and is sabotaging the team. I doubt that, but he was certainly pushed into the defender, no doubt about it. I think he was a little dramatic with it. I think he probably could have avoided it. It's just me. But I felt like he could have avoided hitting him. He was pushed, yes, but it was almost like he was trying to sell it to the point to where it was actually bad for us and detrimental to the team. Thanks, David Cummings. Sorry, brother. Absolutely worst loss of the year. Yeah, too many big plays, obviously. Like I said before the game, I felt like we could hold Ollie Gordon in check. I mean, I thought he would get 100 yards, but Bowman is not that good of a player, guys. He's really not. Alan Bowman's a middle of the pack Big 12 quarterback. Throws for a funny arm angle. Kind of reminds me of Case Keenum with the arm angle. But I mean, he's no elite player. And I thought for sure we could make him try to beat us. And he did make a couple throws tonight. They have enormous wide receivers. Our corners look so small and tiny. And honestly, they look like you wonder why Beanie Bishop was the 3rd corner at Minnesota. It's not because he's a pretty good player. It's because of his size, right? And when you put him up against anybody like those guys tonight, it was a mismatch pretty much all night, even though he fought and he got thrown out a lot. And you look at the guys we brought in from last year, they just haven't performed in a few weeks, really. Hershey's played well in spots. I'm just so frustrated with it all. Let's get to some more comments. Christopher Miller. I mean, yes, I have spoken to people inside the team about this situation, and they definitely need a reason to fire him. It's not like there are people inside the building that want him fired. He's so well liked. That's number one. He does a good job with the team culture, generally speaking. That's number 2. And the players we have returning next year. Let's just be honest, guys. We've got a lot to be excited about next year. I still think Traylon Ray is going to turn into a good player. I think Rodney Gallagher eventually will turn into a good player. I really do. I think Jaheim White, he needs to get more carries, personally, but that's just me. Maybe they don't trust him just yet, but I think he's something to be excited about. Garrett Green's obviously taking a step forward, And then you just look at the 3 and 4 linebackers we have. And I truly do believe if Neal leaves, we probably lose a lot of that. But if you bring the right coach in this day and age, you saw what Sonny Dykes did. You've seen what others have done. You can turn a team around in a year. And we can't get stuck on this roster, because I fall in love with it every now and again for the future of it. But at the end of the day, there are better players out there. And you saw today that it's not like we're world beaters. We don't have 5-star athletes out there. We've got good developmental players that if they stick around will be 4 and 5-star players by the end of it. And that's a challenge. So, but to answer your question, it really depends on what happens the rest of the year. If we're bowl eligible, there are a lot of people think the buyout's too big for Neal to go, and that may be well possible. I think that I'm pretty sure anyway. Ren Baker is really, really drooling to kind of bring in his own guy. That's just my perspective on it. But he's not going to fire Neal for no reason. So we're 4-3 right now. We're probably still ahead of where a lot of people thought we would be. And that's the position he'll play would publicly take on it. I do think that Neal's got a chance to coach himself out of the job here in the next couple of weeks. But, whether you call it fortunately or unfortunately, I actually still like us in a couple games coming up. I actually really do. I don't think BYU is as good. None of these teams we play coming up into Oklahoma has one player like Ollie Gordon where you look at it and go, holy shit, how are we going to stop that guy? I knew he was going to be a problem coming into the game. I didn't know he was going to do that. 300 yards, unbelievable. Unbelievable job on him, So, yeah, Garfield, you're right. But I'll tell you what, this team, Gundy has really found the identity of this team. They were not doing what they're doing now. It's called coaching. And while they played bad that day, and if they played South Alabama right now, they would stomp the guts out of them the way they're playing right now. But yes, it is. At the end of the day, it's a very depressing loss, guys. Don't forget to like the video, guys. I know everybody's upset. This is what I do for a living. So if you don't mind, like the video. Also, if you're watching this after the fact and it's not live, leave a comment and let me know how you feel about the things I'm saying. I think Neal Brown should be on the hot seat squarely now. I felt like he was off of it coming into Houston. I didn't take him off of it after the Hail Mary because I thought, well, we should be 5-1. We really should be. And some people will argue that we should probably be 5-2, but we're not. We're 4-3. And lastly, please share this with your friends and family, guys. We get everybody riled up about this Neal Brown on the hot seat thing. There are a lot of people that don't agree with that. And also, obviously, there's a super chat button down below. If you feel like donating to the channel, this is, like I said, this is what I do for a living. Go live after every game. Go live several times a week. So we appreciate that if you guys feel so inclined. John Kelly has said about every bad thing that could happen does to WVU every season. That's how it feels, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know about that, Curtis, but I understand the frustration. Yeah, they do have a really good freshman back, but I mean, they seem to be struggling with that right now. Yeah, I do too, Dustin. It's a sad. It's not sad. I want us to win, but it's almost like in the back of your mind, or like, so if we win 3 or 4 more games, does that mean that Neal Brown gets to keep the job? And I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know what to think about it all. I really don't. But I was wrong about Garrett Green. Absolutely wrong. I really didn't think he was going to be able to play like he has. So, and really with limited receivers, guys, Devin Carter's a good player. He's not an elite player. He's not. And at the end, by the way, on that onside kick where we got the bounce that we wanted, why not put E.J. Horton there? He's going to outrun anybody to the ball. Put him there. I get you're trying to use the size of Devin Carter there so that he could possibly blow up But whoever blocked him just set up a wall. He didn't even get through him to get to the ball. So I would have tried to go the speed route there and use maybe a Horton or maybe a Jaheim White or somebody like that. Just my opinion. But on E.J. Horton, he's a bright spot. And that kid has some really, really good hands to catch the ball away from his body. And he's obviously, I would say Tyreek Hill, but he reminds me of that kind of speed, game breaking speed. If he continues to progress, there's no reason to think this offense can't turn into a more explosive offense. No doubt. Yeah, I've never seen a 4-2 WVU team with only 50,000 people in the stands. Although I'll say this, Alan, I think the weather had a lot to do with it. I think a lot of people thought there was going to be rain, and you can call us soft if you want there, but I think that had a lot to do with why people didn't show up personally. That said, if it's an undefeated WVU team, I don't care who it is, they're showing up for rain or shine, right? So that is what it is on that too. So I can't do a live too long tonight, guys. I'm actually meeting up with my family. Let me get my mind off this for a little bit. Need to take a step away from it. I really I was screaming and yelling tonight into the TV. I was pissed. I really was pissed. I was mad all game long. It's not good for my health, no doubt. Leave a comment down below if WVU athletics are bad for your health. Don't look now. The Raekwon Battle news will be coming soon, and we'll be looking at basketball season. And will that be good for our health this year? Stay tuned. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I can't really blame the offense. 37 points should be enough to win a lot of games, or however many we got. Hey, Timothy, don't recognize your name if you're not a subscriber. Would appreciate the subscription there, but um, I think I mean, I made the title what it is. I think Neal Brown's on the hot seat, and he can coach himself off it. He can also coach himself a little closer to the fire. Personally, I think you look at it. Oklahoma State's probably going to win. They're going to be a 9 or 10 win football team now. I think based on how they're playing. Um, but I think we still win in the Cincinnati game. I think we got a chance in the UCF game. We've got a chance in the BYU game. We got a chance in the Baylor game. It's hard to say. We still could win 8 games. If we win 8 games, Neal Brown will be here next year. You better believe that. There's no way they can fire him after winning that game. I mean, they could. I don't see it. The people I talk to day to day don't think so either. So take that for what you will. Greg Adams, thanks for the comment. He says they gave up. Now, Dustin, I appreciate your comment. This is year 5, man. This is 5 years without being ranked for us. So it's even though we can't be settling as fans for just being better this year. It's year 5. We haven't been ranked. We've been to 1 bowl game, or maybe 2. I'm sorry. When I'm frustrated, I end up forgetting things. But I can't remember a time in my life when West Virginia wasn't ranked. We usually get ranked at least once a year at some point. We might not always stay there, but goodness gracious, we were on the precipice of it before that Houston Hail Mary. It's almost like we're just snake bitten with Neal Brown at the helm. And I don't know what else to say about it. The Hail Mary, the penalties, a lot of undisciplined football. One week I'm ready to say Jordan Leslie needs a head coaching job. The next week I'm like, what the hell happened to the defense? There's no consistency with this coaching staff, with this team. In Neal Brown's tenure, I would say the biggest theme with Neal Brown is lack of consistency. He'll have a horrible first half of the season, win 3 or 4 games down the stretch. And it's been like that every year, and there can't just be some consistency. Win 3 games, lose one, win 4 games, lose one, or whatever. And it's just been like that since he's been here. And sometimes you just have to get to a point to where you're like, this shit isn't working. And that's kind of how I feel. Clement's in a walking boot. He'll probably be out next week from what I've been told. I was rooting for Neal Brown so hard, Krista. I really was. I was rooting for. I told Coos, I texted him. I said, if there's a God, and for Neal Brown, please let us come back and win this game, because I don't want to see him lose his job. I think he's perfect for us in a lot of ways. It's almost like as a fan, you look at it like a possible suitor, like a marriage. And does he fit our culture? Yeah, check. Does he fit, our identity or whatever? Check. Does he play a brand of football that you like? Check or not check. And unfortunately, Neal just checks every box except for winning. And I don't know how to quantify that. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to. I don't know how to explain it. It's extremely frustrating. Unfortunately, nice guy and good fathers don't win football games. So there's a lot of people in here now, guys. Don't forget the super chat button is down below. I can't keep up with all the comments as they fly by. I will try to get to some of them, but at the end of the day, I can only see what I can see on here. You're right. I mean, listen, I've been for that here and there. I think Rich Rod's playing. He's 60 though, so that's something that kind of worries me. Yeah, it is shocking. Ollie Gordon is probably the best player in the Big 12 right now. I mean, there's a couple players that you can mention, but he's turning into real quick a household name. By the end of the year, he's probably going to have, if he doesn't get hurt, he's probably going to have 1,500 yards. And he didn't even start. He didn't even start really playing until a couple games ago. So you don't put that on coaching, Andrew. Discipline is instilled through your leaders, through your coaches. Situational football, right? You're supposed to know not to hit if you're a gunner or whoever, not to hit the punter on a punt return. You're supposed to know to bat the ball down on a Hail Mary. You're supposed to know. Now, I get accidents happen. You grab a face mask. But if, the double hit, that's another play where it was just a little lack of discipline. Some people will say that the play against Lee Kova, where he pushed him down afterwards, was weak, and it was. But at the end of the day, disciplined teams don't make small mistakes like that. These are coaching things, and you either have them or you don't. The reason Bo Schembechler's teams won a lot of games, they were extremely disciplined because he was like a drill sergeant. Some teams need that, and it's different from team to team. You've heard Neal talk about it. He thinks he didn't work them hard enough during the bye week. They didn't hit. Therefore, they haven't tackled well. And it sounds like they're having a hard time catching back up to that. This team can't afford little errors like that in coaching. Thanks, Timothy. New member, Timothy. Appreciate that, brother. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like I said earlier on, I felt like Wilson Lamp was shoved, but he kind of tried to make it. He tried to sell it too, in my opinion. Instead of just trying to avoid him or miss him, it didn't look like he was so out of control that he couldn't have moved. He just went head into him and said, well, I'll just draw a penalty here, and it didn't work. Thank you for the super chat, Kenny Evans. He said, I'm tired of losing games. WVU deserves better. This is crazy. Coaches are to blame, period. I tend to agree. generally speaking. I think, at the end of the day, I'm watching Jackson Dart over here for Ole Miss on the screen. We probably could have had him. He was somebody, if we would have pushed hard enough, we probably could have had. Other players. I love Garrett, but I'm talking about this was last year, too. You know, uh, had we had more winning culture over the last 4 years, can you imagine the NIL support? Bob Huggins was given the money to get the number one, possibly the number one class in the country in basketball. And what happened? He got it. Did Neal Brown? No, because there was no faith. Unfortunate, man. Yeah, I can't remember the last time we like this. It's been us doing it to other teams in the past. Running. I mean, we've had been torched through the air a bunch, but I can't remember the last time somebody just took our soul through on the ground like this. Yeah, that'd be nuts. Anytime we actually have been successful in the past 15 years, all the media would talk about was where the coach was going to go. Yeah, that's frustrating, man. It feels like we're a stepping stool, doesn't it? Yeah, Preston Fox had a great game today. I was really proud of him. Yeah, I just said the other day, or I just said this a couple weeks ago after the TCU game. But Neal Brown has been coaching on a pretty much game to game basis. That's been known from the beginning of the season, and I did say he deserved an extension after we started the way we did and we won those all those straight games. But losing the Houston game the way we lost it, and losing this game the way we lost, he doesn't have enough cachet, Dusty, to warrant these kind of things happening. It's not like he's in his first year; he's in his fifth year. So anytime something like this happens, the hot seat's going to come back. It's not something that's far away at any given time. You have to build up your cachet. So all he can do from now on is control the situation that he can control and win football games. If he does that, people like me can shut up about it and start talking about extensions again. It's a what have you done for me lately kind of thing. And unfortunately, that when we were looking so good before Houston seems like a distant memory now, and now things have fallen apart. So, well, I mean, Oklahoma State recruits similar to we do. So does Baylor. I think I get your point, but if you want me to name them off, on the field tonight was at least five, possibly six four-star players. I mean, there's probably more. Um, and you look at some of the players we have on this team right now. Traylon Ray was a four-star player. Rodney Galler's a four-star player. Jaheim White is what you call a fringe four-star player. He had a four-star on one of the sites. And I can go on down the list. Obviously, the offensive line has a couple. Wyatt Milan was a fringe five-star player. Lance Dixon was a five-star player. So we have those kind of players on this team. It's not like we don't. It's just that we're not either utilizing them or we missed on them because you can miss on them too. Or like in some situations, 4 and 5 star players just don't fit what you do. They may be a different kind of player. Unfortunately, that's kind of been what's happened for us. I disagree with that, Dusty. Anytime we've been a good football team as West Virginia, you look at it with whatever. Go back to Major Harris. You go back to what they did. They ran the football. You look what Pat White and those guys did. They ran the football, and it was a fun style running the football, right? I think that's in my opinion is what we're going to be good. That's the identity of West Virginia. It has been historically. The run and gun Big 12 offense, just to me, doesn't fit what we do, and that's more of a Midwest type thing. And those kind of players run those offenses in high school. And although it's kind of moved on beyond all around the country, we still play physical football in the surrounding area, especially in Ohio. I live right near Ironton, which is a powerhouse, who has a player that's been, he's got a couple players being recruited by everybody, and they run the ball every play. So, it's all about philosophy, I guess. But West Virginia's always played opportunistic on defense because they've always recruited towards the running game on offense, offensive line, lines of scrimmage, unfortunately. And then that's what I thought they were doing with this team. And it's just fallen apart. It really has. But, you win how you can win, obviously, with the players that you have. You can't hold the ball for 20 minutes a half, only to result in three. You have to score six if you're going to eat the clock like that. Agreed. I definitely agree. I mean, I get it. Yeah, I mean, look, I thought that was who we were going to be this year. I thought we were going to be a smash mouth football team. It doesn't seem like that's who we are right now, and I can't explain it. This offensive line is not playing like I hoped they would. They're playing. Listen, pass protection has been really good. Um, running has been, in my opinion, and it's been more on the running backs than the offensive line. There are holes. The running backs, any big run you see, Ollie Gordon tonight, he always made the first man break. He always broke the first tackle, and then he would go on to do what he did. Until Justin got in the game, we really wasn't making the first guy miss very often. Extremely frustrating, man. Hugs for football coach. I mean, anybody gets excited when their team wins, man. It's just how it is. Can't control who's on the schedule or how good they are. That's an odd concept to me, man. Like, they're so excited because they beat some crappy teams. Well, I mean, who else are we supposed to beat? We didn't play Alabama. We played who we played. Can't control that. We're fans. Yeah, the offense did play great. They play. Yeah, 34 should be enough. You would think. I don't know. I'm not a coach. This wasn't. You talk about the Kansas game last year. You talk about other games where we've been beaten bad on defense, and it's been alignment issues. That wasn't the case tonight. We got beat man to man, and that's a different kind of getting beat. You look at the Kansas game last year. They had all off season to plan for us. Didn't show what they were going to do in the first game, and then they just kind of threw it all over us. They did that little option game they were doing, and we really got some points racked up on us. Well, that was all because of misalignment, and this was all because of their offensive line imposed their will on our defensive line, and their running back just absolutely stole our soul. It is what it is. I don't know how to explain it or why, but it is. There's Hugh Freeze. Might have been nice to have him. He's got a pretty crappy Auburn team at 3-3 right now, but I'm sure he's going to build them into something pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I think Garrett would be great with Rich Rod's offense. Absolutely. you know, I would love to have him in that offense. Well, that kid's special though, man. He really is. It, Ollie Gordon is just special, man. They've done a good job developing him. I shared it to a few of my friends. Mike Gundy talked about it early in the week, how they um, developed him and all that. And he wasn't ready last year. Like how we played CJ, he wasn't ready, you know. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you guys for jumping on. I know Coos will be doing a live here shortly, or at least he was going to. My family's going to be here in 10 minutes, and I have to get ready. I wish I could stay on longer, but I'll be making a few videos this week. One's going to be on Garrett Green and how I was wrong. So looking forward to that. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Thanks for the new channel member. Thanks for the super chat. You guys are welcome to send super chats even when I'm not on here if you ever get so inclined. I appreciate everything. I really do appreciate the support, guys. I really do. Wish I could stay on longer. Come back. I'll be making videos all week. So this has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over. I'm out.